Hi, Rachel. So for my spiritual reflection, I really like this one this week and how it talks about, I'm reading it right now, so I'm looking at the side, but how it talks about just the importance of acknowledging that like the relationship between student and teacher is one where it's learning both ways. I think that that's something that comes from a really humble position and a really humble acknowledgement of being able to understand that. And it's something that I really value in being able to step into my classroom each day and knowing that I'm not the only learner entering into it. And I get to learn from my students, I get to learn from my paras, I get to learn from the different staff that are always in and out of my room. And even just this past year, just the number of things that, oh my gosh, it's so hard. Just the number of things that I've learned from my students has just been really awesome. But I think I've kind of drawn that, understanding that value of it. What? Sorry. I've drawn like that understanding and that value of it from just my experience as a para. And I think being surrounded by these other ladies that had been working this job for years, like 25, 26, 30 years. And just the way that they walked into the job each day, not holding their head higher than the students, but seeing them as important, seeing them as equal, seeing them as someone who's worth forming a relationship with and getting to know. And just from spending time with those ladies is how I kind of got what I want to do as a teacher within my own classroom. And I want to instill that I'm not higher than anyone else, and that every person within that room gets to learn from each other. And I think Dr. Anderson does a good job of acknowledging that. I think that that's something that is also really present within my own theological beliefs too, is that we serve a Lord who washes the other people's feet. This God who saved the whole earth by dying on the cross, and yet he takes the time to meet with people who the world would deem as not worthy of his time, not worthy of a king's time. And I just think that's the coolest leader ever. And that's coming from someone who is the biggest, most powerful king. So me as this little teacher, what can I do? I think that that's really cool to think about. And I think this is like something that's been seen within a lot of evidence-based strategies. I think a lot of old school thought is kind of strict power. But I think a lot of new theories now and a lot of new stuff that I've seen just talks about how to set down the power struggle and to focus on that relationship first. And with that relationship and with that mutual bond and that trust comes that learning and comes the decrease in behaviors even too. So yeah, I really loved the reflection this week. Reminded me again of how awesome our God is and how we can kind of follow his way of teaching us as teachers, which I think is really cool. All right. Thanks, Rachel.